Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Consider the following statement. Removal proceedings against a judge of the Supreme Court or the High Court can be initiated in either House of Parliament. A judge may be removed from office through a motion adopted by Parliament on grounds of proven misbehavior or unsound mind. Which of the above statements are incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in this article. Let us try and understand what are these options. When it comes to the Constitution of India, we have a term called as impeachment. The word impeachment is generally used for the president. When it comes to the removal of the judges of the Supreme Court or the High Court, we use the term removal and not impeachment. So if there are articles which speaks about impeachment, it is wrong, because in Constitution the word impeachment is only used for the President of India. Now, when it comes to the removal proceedings of the Supreme Court judge and the High Court judge, where is it present? It is present in Article 124 of the Indian Constitution. Article 124 of the Indian Constitution speaks about removal of the Supreme Court judge. Then we also have Article 217 of the Indian Constitution and 218 as well. This speaks about the removal proceedings when it comes to the judge of the High Court. So what does it say? It says that we have one of the articles which speaks about the removal proceedings of the Supreme Court. The same shall be applied when it comes to the removal proceedings of the judges of the High Court. So when it comes to the removal proceedings of the judge of the Supreme Court and that of the High Court, a similar method is to be followed. What is the procedure? The procedure is clearly elaborated in the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968. According to this act, removal proceedings can be initiated both in the Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha. So the first statement is right, and under this act can be initiated when at least 100 members of the Lok Sabha may give a signed notice to the Speaker. At least 50 members of Rajya Sabha may give a signed notice to the Chairman. So they give a notice to the Speaker in the Lok Sabha, to the Chairman in the Rajya Sabha, and the Speaker and the Chairman may have to accept it. If they don't accept, then it is immediately withdrawn. But if they accept, they appoint 3-member committee. So this 3-member committee will include the judge of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the High Court, and it will also have a distinguished jurist as well. So they look into the allegations, and after looking into the allegations, in case they do find out that a judge has misbehaved or he does not have the capacity, which means incapacity and not unsound mind. So the 3-member committee will look into the allegations and they decide if there is proven misbehavior or incapacity and not unsound mind. This is for the members of the Parliament and not for the Supreme Court or the High Court judges. So once this report goes to the Parliament, the Chairman or the Speaker will put it in the Parliament, and the Parliament will have to pass a special majority so that the removal proceedings can be initiated. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Silverline rail project, which of the following statements are correct? The project would be a vital link between Mumbai and Thiruvananthapuram. It is exclusively for transporting freight at higher speed with increased load carrying capacity. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference to the Silverline project. What is this Silverline project? This is a project that is supposed to be executed in the state of Kerala. So remember, it is a project in the state of Kerala where it will connect the southern part, that is the state capital of Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram, with the northern part of Kerala, which happens to be Kasaragod. As of now, if you have to travel from Thiruvananthapuram to Kasaragod, it will take a long time. So the cabinet has initiated this proposal so that the travel time can be reduced and commuters would be able to reach within a span of 4 hours. So what is the need of it? One, the existing railway line, it will be decongested and at the same time the congestion on roads will be comparatively reduced. This will help reduce accident and fatalities, and at the same time it will make it far more easier for the commuters to move from the southern part of Kerala to the northern part of Kerala. However, there are environmentalists, there are also activists who are going against this particular project. Why? Because this may cause irreparable damage to the ecology. According to them, this may create a problem in the ecology which may result in landslides in the near future, trigger floods as well, and as a result, you have the environmentalists and activists who are against this project. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements are correct with respect to protection of children from Sexual Offences Act? Burden of proof in POCSO cases lies on the accused. POCSO is a general neutral law. Which of the statements are right? The answer to this is both. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a mention of protection of children from Sexual Offences Act. Let us try and understand what are these options. When you look into the first option, it says burden of proof in POCSO cases lies on the accused. This is a right statement. When you look into a crime, there are two parties in a crime. One is the accused who's committed that act. Then you also have a victim in a crime. Who is the stakeholder in this particular crime? You have the state party to it, which is the prosecuting agency. Generally, whenever a crime is committed, it is the prosecution which has to prove to the court of law that it is this person who has committed this crime, which means the prosecution will have to prove the guilt much beyond the reasonable doubt. So the responsibility is on the prosecution when it comes to most of the criminal cases. But let's say, for example, in POCSO or NDPS or SCST Act, it is the defense which has to prove that such an act was not committed with that particular intention. So even in the POCSO Act, the burden of proof in POCSO lies with the accused and not with the prosecution. So usually in the criminal cases, the burden lies on the prosecution, but in this particular case of POCSO cases, the burden of proof in POCSO cases lies on the accused. So the first statement is right. When you look into the second statement, POCSO is a general neutral law. Yes, this is a right statement. What do we mean by general neutral law? Let's take the example of Indian Penal Code. We have rape as one of the offences in the Indian Penal Code. Is it general neutral? No. It means it is not equally applicable to both male and female. But when it comes to the POCSO Act, it is general neutral, which means it is equally applicable to a boy as well as a girl who is less than 18 years of age. So the law is applicable to a boy and a girl who is less than 18 years of age if there is a sexual offense committed against this individual. So any individual who is less than 18 years of age will be a victim under the POCSO Act. So any person perpetuating crime against this individual who is less than 18 years of age, whether it is boy or girl, will come under the POCSO Act. So the second statement is also right. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to National Career Services project, which of the following statements are correct? It is a mission mode project launched by the Ministry of Education to bridge the gap between those who need jobs and those who want to hire them. NCS does not charge any fees for registration on the portal and its services. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why? That is because it is not the Ministry of Education, but instead it is the Ministry of Labor. So the first statement is wrong, the second statement is right, and the answer to this would be 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the PIB article. So what is this National Career Service? As the very name denotes, this is a platform created by the Ministry of Labor. For what? There are people who are looking for jobs, then there are employers who want to give jobs, then there are people who are looking for training, and there are people who want to give training as well, but then they are all working in different ways. They do not have a common platform. They do not have a stage where they can all approach so that all these issues are sorted out. So what we have is the Ministry of Labor, which has created this platform, this stage, so that all people can meet at one single platform and a dais, and that is what is called as National Career Service. So what would happen? There are people who are looking for jobs, there are people who are ready to give jobs, then there are people who want to increase their skill set, then there are people who want to give training to other set of people. All these people will come on one single platform. That is what is called as National Career Service. So the job seekers, the employers, the counselors, the trainers, the placement organization are all given one single platform so that they would be able to correlate, coordinate in this particular platform. So this will be an outreach program across the length and breadth of the country. This will basically have three important components. What are these three components? One is what is called as the NCS portal. So this will be an online portal. The online portal will ensure that all these people are provided a platform. So the job seekers, the employers are all provided one single platform, and this will be Aadhaar authentication provided. So this means you cannot fake the profile, and all that you have to do is to provide Aadhaar authentication so that you are genuinely interested in that particular platform. But do remember, the registration is completely free and this can be done online. So the second statement is right. So the answer is 2 only. Apart from this online portal, you also have the career centers as well. What are these career centers? Let's assume for a moment you do not have the internet penetration in that particular place, a remote village. In that case, a person who does not have the internet penetration in that place, or he does not know how to make use of this internet and communication technology, he may visit a particular place in that area which is called as the career center. So basically you would have the government which would also establish the career center as well, where people would be able to go in person and also register. Finally, you would also have the call center as part of this particular program, so that people can call up this particular center and can seek options and opinions about the job profiles for their future. It is this that we have to understand in reference to the National Career Service. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following is geographically closest to Great Nicobar? Sumatra, Borneo, Java, Sri Lanka. The answer to this is Sumatra. This is a straightforward question. The distance between Sumatra and Great Nicobar is about 1192 kilometers approximately. The distance between Great Nicobar to Sri Lanka is about 1400 odd kilometers. The distance between Great Nicobar to Borneo is more than 2000 kilometers, and the distance between Great Nicobar to Java is more than 1800 kilometers. So if you look into the numbers, Sumatra happens to be closer, and this happens to be the previous year question from the year 2017. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is legal age of marriage for women. Before we understand what the context is, let's understand what is this article all about. When it comes to India, we have something called as the personal laws. What are these personal laws? Let's say, for example, these are the laws that are present for a particular community. The same may not be applied to another community. Let's say, for example, we have Hindu laws, we also have Christian marriage laws, we also have laws with respect to Muslims as well. So these laws are personal laws which are only applicable to that particular community. This is what is called as personal laws. When it comes to the marriage, what is the age that a girl should enter into the marriage? What is an age that a groom or a boy can enter into a wedlock? So there are laws as well. Similar such laws are provided in every personal law. For example, when it comes to the Hindus, you have the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. It has set a minimum age. According to it, a girl would be able to get married only after she has achieved 18 years of age, and at the same time a boy would be able to get married after he has gained an age of 21 years. Where is it present? It is present in section 5 of 3 of the Hindu Marriage Act. similar such provisions are also applicable to the Christians as well. Where is it present? It is present in Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872, and you also have Special Marriage Act as well, which has clearly given the minimum age for the women as well as for the men. For the women it is 18 years and for the men it is 21 years. However, when it comes to the Muslims, they have their own prescribed personal laws, and the criteria for Muslims is attaining puberty, which is assumed to be at the age of 15 or above. So they have their own personal laws when it comes to the marriages. So currently what we have is 18 years for the girl and what we have is 21 years for the boys. The government of India, that is the Union Cabinet, has now proposed that there will be uniform age both for the boy as well as girls. So this is a proposal. They are planning to bring some amendments and changes to the existing laws so that we have the same age both for the men as well as for the women. Why is there a minimum age? That is to outlaw the child marriages. Currently we have the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act of 2006. We also have POCSO Act as well, which we just discussed. To further give impetus to this particular movement, we have the government of India, that is the cabinet, come up with such a proposal. So basically, in order to give impetus to this, to have a uniformity in age for the men as well as women, the government of India had appointed one of the task force, which was led by Jaya Jaitley. What happened? The committee looked into all the dimensions. It looked into multiple social indices like the infant mortality, maternal mortality, the nutrition levels with respect to the women, and finally they have concluded, in order to empower the women, in order to give them more education, in order to provide them all the health parameters so that they can be empowered, they have given a proposal of increasing the age of the women for the marriage from 18 to 21 years. So this is not based on the rationale of population control, but this is only to empower the women so that there is gender parity, so that they get more access to the education and livelihood, says this particular committee headed by Jaya Jaitley. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.